today I want to talk to you about expect the unexpected, the coming of the Lord. With all the world gone crazy and now Israel at war, we are to be prepared, but not wrongly preoccupied. Today I'm going to show you that the coming of the Lord in the rapture and the start of the day of the Lord will be completely unexpected. And unless one is prepared before that time, he or she will face the hardship of the tribulation period. We're going to talk about that. Let's get started. Welcome to Reason for Truth. I'm your host, Stevie Garofalo. This is Reason for Truth. Truth comes first. Reasons come last. We're always and constantly learning. Because we stop learning, we stop teaching. At least stop teaching well. And today we want to teach and learn all about what it means to be prepared or wrongly prepared. Let's start today by looking at 5 things we definitely want to be aware of regarding expecting the unexpected. I hope that makes sense. First, let's be aware that most proclaimed Christians or self-proclaimed Christians in our modern age are cultural Christians in name only. If you said, hey, we got 50 million people, or let's say we got 150 billion people in the United States to say they're Christians, well, they're Christian in name more often than not. I can't judge the heart, but there's many nominal or just what we say cultural Christians. And as such, they will be taken off guard as many of them are not going to be truly saved because they're not serious about their faith. You can't kind of just say, hey, yeah, I believe in Jesus. And it's not like Islam. We just repeat the phrase, Allah is the only God and Muhammad is his last prophet. You say that 3 times. All you have to do, you just say it. It's not like that in Christianity. You have to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and he knows your heart. And if you were serious, or these people are serious, they'd be watchful and alert as to the times. We need to communicate this with our cultural Christian friends. Help lead them into a serious, truthful relationship with Jesus Christ. Because why? They're at risk. It's first. Second, on the converse, we are not to be overly watchful, preoccupied with end times. This is the difference between being watchful and overly watchful. It's like anything else. It's the difference between eating food and overeating, right? Or sleeping and oversleeping. It goes without saying. The difference is called being obsessed. We don't, and listen, I know Americans like to be obsessed with anything from cartoons to playing video games to just about anything we do. We don't know the day or the time of the return of the Lord. So let's make sure our obsession is with seeking God's will and his fulfilling his mission, and not on the exact day or the time that he's come to return Jesus for his second coming. That's going to happen. That might be 1,000 years, 100 years, could be 2 days, could be 2 seconds. We don't know. Every day we're called to live for him, right? Let's not preoccupy our minds in distraction. Creating apathy is all that happens. In some cases, developing into some kind of biblical entertainment for our soul to say, oh, some friends are saying, hey, I have fun. I like doing it. Well, I guess if that's what you like, as long as you have time to do other things to be productive for the Lord, fine. Just don't get so overly, enmeshed in that you don't serve the Lord productively. You just sit in your comfort of your home and then ignore that. In the end, this can keep us from the main thing, which is serving the Lord regarding the mission he has called us to, the present moment, meaning today. And listen, there are a lot of lost people. I guarantee you, every single one of us have neighbors that are lost. Guarantee you. People that we work with that are lost. People in our family that are lost. And it goes on. Some of us children that are lost. We have work to do. Let's get to work. Worry about the return of Christ to Christ, to the Father. He only knows the time. Third, we need to understand that God is infinite, meaning he has no beginning or end. God is also omniscient, meaning that he's all-knowing. And listen, at the end, he's a simple being, meaning he's pure spirit. God has no material makeup, doesn't have physical hands. He's pure spirit, okay? And he has no past. He has no history, and he has no future. He just is I am. He just is as one singular moment. He's past, present, and future all in one. As such, he is in the present. To be at I am is to be. Remember, he's not I was, I'm going to be. It's I am. So to be closest to God is to be closest to I am. Fourth, since Jesus was taken up into heaven, Matthew 28, we've been called to mission. That's the Great Commission, period. Our obsession ought to be simply accepting, believing that Jesus is coming back, and then fulfilling the mission that he gave us in light of our faith in God and his eternal plan for life. This is a so what. He told us what to do, right? He didn't tell us, he didn't tell us to hang out and just kind of read or get caught in our bubble and not make disciples of the earth, not to evangelize, and to just immerse ourselves in trying to figure out when God's returning. We should be obediently fulfilling God's mission as He's called us to, as opposed to expending our energy trying to figure out when He's returning. That's different. That's the bottom line. We don't need to be mini prophets. In closing, I want to leave you with a few verses that I hope gives you better focus and encouragement as how you and I can and should live our life according to this upside-down world for Christ. Let's start looking at the words of the Apostle Paul when he said in Romans 8:18, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. Wow, it's powerful. Think about that. Our present sufferings are just that. They're just in the present. They're very short. They're going to be gone in an instant. We'll be with the Lord. I was talking with a friend of mine. She died for 12 minutes technically, and I said, what was it like? She said, it was very peaceful. She said, it wasn't that eventful. She goes, but I didn't want to come back. She goes, and all I heard, this is what she said. She said, it seemed like the Lord who was speaking to me saying, have you done all the things you think that you need to do on earth that I've called you to? And she said she instantly, there was a grandson of hers, or I think it was son or grandson. And just then she woke up. She was back in the room. Is answer to her question. Next, let's look at Matthew 6:34. It tells us that we must shift our focus to the present, not worrying about tomorrow. You can read that one on your own. And lastly, Jesus himself tells us in Matthew 6:34, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. For each day has enough trouble of its own. And the Lord knows that is true. In the end, let's make sure that we are living out our faith in action and not quarterbacking Scripture, trying to figure out dates, or even if it's just specifically getting so enmeshed with, with end times that we're not fulfilling the present mission with I am in the present, as God told us through Matthew 28, the words of Jesus himself, the Great Commission. It's in this way that you and I can rightfully expect the unexpected. Hey, listen, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you take this to heart. Hope you take it as a challenge. I'm on this thing right now where I'm like, everything is like, we're preoccupied by so many things that we're not occupied by the things we should be doing, in many cases, not all. And I want to challenge everybody to do that. If we all Christians watching this, if we all take our mission seriously, I guarantee you the world will be turned right side up pretty quickly. God's going to bless us, your nation, my nation, all nations, and we're going to see this thing turn around. Because you know who wins the war? That's God. It's our job to fight these little battles on earth. So if you like this, make sure you do a couple things like share it with others, subscribe, boom, hit that little alert bell. Then join me over in my community. You don't want to miss that. It's where I post good stuff. A lot of these transcripts are there. StephenGarofalo.com. I'm your host, Stephen Garofalo, and this is your Reason for Truth for today.